So this machine here is called, well, the company is called MedX, and the machine itself is what's called a seated dip machine. This machine strengthens the muscles of the back, the shoulders, the chest, and the triceps, so the back of the arms. So this particular exercise is one of the best exercises you can do for almost all of the muscles of the upper body. Now, this machine has several different, so to learn how to get somebody in the machine and out of the machine, I'm going to point out some specific things about the machine so that you can understand how the machine itself works. So in this machine you have an adjustable seat. The handle for the seat is probably going to be a little hard to see, but it's back here. And when you lift the handle, that's what adjusts the seat up and down. These two handles here can be turned in or out, depending upon the size of the individual. So for smaller people, the handles will be in, and for larger people, the handles will be turned out. This back pad adjusts backward and forward, depending upon the thickness or the size of the person. So you have a seat adjustment up and down, you have a back pad adjustment back and forth, and you have a handle adjustment in or out. And when you're putting somebody in the machine, these are the different settings that you use to determine whether or not the client is set in the machine properly. The weight stack has or I should say the weight tower has a large weight stack on the bottom and a smaller micro-loadable weight stack on the top. So each plate up here is 2 pounds and each plate down here is 20. So for example, if somebody is doing 100 pounds in an exercise and it's time to adjust the weight, and this is actually true for all of the MedX machines. If somebody's doing 100 pounds and they reach a certain, what we call time to concentric failure, which is when the person does say 4 or 5 reps and they cannot do another one, you can increase the weight from 100 to 102. You don't have to go from 100 to 120 to 140. So it's what we call micro-loading, and all of the machines actually have that adjustable ability. When you're setting the range of motion for somebody in this machine, when you press the handles downward, I hope you can see that there are some holes showing on the guide rod, which allows you to choose where you want the handles to start. Like so. And again, that's determined by the range of motion of that particular person's shoulders. If somebody has, what's nice about this is, if somebody has a compromised shoulder, meaning they can't start from here, they have to start a little lower, you can adjust the range of motion to accommodate that. And in the workout cards that we set for the client, this gets notated in the workout card. So for me, the settings are as so. Although it might be a little difficult to see this exactly. When you're putting somebody in the machine, you're sliding them back all the way so that their back is flat against the back pad. So that is where the adjustment back or forth comes in. You'll see that when I reach back to the handles, this is a comfortable position for my shoulders, where somebody else might need to start a little lower, depending upon the individual. The seat belt is designed to what's called arrest the reactionary force. So in many exercises we have seat belts, because if I didn't have a seat belt, when I push the weight down, my body would just get pushed upward. So you need, in most of the machines, you need a seat belt to keep yourself in place. So the person should be sitting up tall, and the idea, the two main functions in this exercise are shoulder girdle depressions, shoulder depression, and elbow extension. And when you begin, as in all of the machines, we take 2 seconds for the very first inch of movement, and then you really want to move only about an inch per second smoothly after that. So I'll give you an example of what this might look like. So we begin 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Notice how my shoulders are not up like this. I'm depressing my shoulders downward and not avoiding locking my elbows straight. A little bit of a bend in the elbow, shoulder depression, and then slowly reverse. Back to the start point. Once you near the start point, the weights touch completely, and then slowly reverse again, taking 2 seconds for the first inch. And then the client would continue in that fashion until they got to the point of what we call momentary muscular success, which is where you cannot perform another exercise in good form. And that holds true for all the exercises that we do, not just this particular machine. So that is the basics of the seated dip machine, the muscles that are worked, the different components of it, and what it looks like to perform that exercise. That's it for the seated dip.